It's no secret that HTC has been struggling to keep its head above water. Samsung has been dominating the Android space in the US, and Huawei has been pushing everyone else out of the way in Asia and in Europe, leaving very little room for HTC to shine. Last year's HTC 10 was one of the best devices to hit the market, but it failed to make the splash that HTC needed to get noticed. This time around, HTC is trying something new with its flagship device, wrapping the U11 in a glitzy new squeezable body while also upping its camera game. I'm Nick Gray, and this is my review of the HTC U11. As most OEMs have, HTC has gotten all the basics right. The U11 has the latest Snapdragon 835 chip, 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage, with a 5.5-inch Quad HD display. But what some may not like is the battery, since it's limited to 3000 mAh, and the display has the standard 16:9 aspect ratio, rather than the 18:9 form factor that we've seen on the Galaxy S8 and the LG G6. It's not a deal breaker, but the phone is noticeably wider than its two main competitors. The U11 delivers everything you would expect from a flagship device. It's sleek, beautifully refined, and powerful. Slapping a glass panel on the back of the phone isn't anything new, but HTC's liquid glass surface design does things differently, using optical spectrum hybrid deposition to coat the backside of the glass with a variety of different minerals, which reflect a secondary color at different angles. It turns the mundane into something unique. And if you're worried about scratching the phone, HTC does include a clear protective case with the U11 in the box, but I've been using the phone without it for a week and haven't yet noticed the scratch. And did I mention, the U11 is also IP67 dust and water resistant, catching up with Samsung and LG. The build quality of the U11 is superb. It may look similar to the U Ultra, but the refinement in the small details like the white antenna lines and the metal frame matching the white accent color at the bottom speaker make the phone appealing from every single angle. My only nitpicky complaint is that the fingerprint scanner and the capacitive buttons below the display are a bit too low, but they work just fine once you get used to them. The most interesting aspect of this phone's design is the inclusion of pressure-sensitive sensors in the bottom portion of the metal frame, which allow you to launch an app or change a system setting with a short or long squeeze. I wasn't really excited about the Edge Sense feature when I first heard about it, but I've quickly come to love it. Once you're done calibrating and assigning the apps that you want to launch, all you have to do is squeeze, and it even works when the screen is off. It's perfect for launching the camera or any other app that you use the most. Last year's HTC 10 is still a good phone, but there's a noticeable difference between the performance of these two devices. The Snapdragon 835 deserves all the credit here. Graphical performance has been increased by 25%, and HTC even claims that you get 3 hours of additional video playback. In my testing, the U11 is noticeably faster than the 10, and overall battery performance has moved in the right direction as well. On an average day, you can expect to go 14 hours and still have a 20% charge with 3.5 hours of screen on time. That's not earth-shattering, but it's in line with what you get with the Huawei P10 and the Samsung Galaxy S8. Since high-end smartphones are already incredibly fast, it's hard to gauge the true power of the U11 without running benchmarks. The numbers show that it's in line with the Samsung Galaxy S8, making it one of the most powerful devices on the market right now. In the real world, that performance means that the apps load quicker, games run perfectly smooth, and you'll be hard-pressed to find any lag in HTC's Sense UI. And since we're on the topic, HTC's custom UI will be very familiar for those who have used it before. To me, it's a little bit too familiar, since there really isn't anything new that's been introduced since the U Ultra or even the HTC 10. Yes, the HTC Sense companion is there with pop-up notifications for restaurants, weather, fitness, and power management suggestions from time to time, but the UI has no noticeable improvements or tweaks, which is disappointing since HTC was on a good track of streamlining things to bring them more in line with stock Android. While EdgeSense may be the gimmick that most flagship smartphones ship with these days, the U11's standout feature is its camera. I've already done a handful of videos which show the camera capabilities of this phone, but I honestly can't get over how good it actually is. It has a 12 megapixel Sony sensor with dual focus pixels, an f1.7 lens with optical image stabilization which keeps video silky smooth and helps with low light performance as well. But what makes this camera special is HTC's new HDR boost mode. which mimics what Google introduced with the Pixel. The camera uses data from multiple exposures to create a single image, which is better balanced, capturing more detail in the shadows and the brighter areas within the shot. The autofocus time is near instantaneous, since every pixel on the sensor assists in calculating what should be in focus. The colors captured by this phone are natural, avoiding the extra vivid colors you get on the Samsung Galaxy S8. The only downside though is that the shots can easily look a little bit washed out, but that can easily be fixed by dropping the exposure level with a quick tap on the screen. But if you want to do even more tweaking, you can take full control of the hardware by jumping into the Pro mode. Either way, the images that the U11 captures are stunning, especially those in low light. Having taken nearly 1,000 photos with this phone already, it's been a challenge weeding down the selection to show off in this video. Since we all like taking selfies, we have to talk about the front-facing camera as well. HTC is using a 16 megapixel sensor with an f2.0 26mm lens. It doesn't have optical image stabilization like the HTC 10 did, but it does have the same HDR boost mode as the main camera. The selfies it takes are pretty good, but it's not the best I've ever seen. If HTC would have used a lower resolution sensor with larger pixels, the results could have been much better. But if you're willing to get a little bit creative, you can always flip the phone around, frame yourself in the mirror finish, and then snap a picture by squeezing the phone. This little trick actually works really good, and the results are far better than what you get with the front-facing camera. On the video side, the U11 captures really nice 4K video as well, and the optical image stabilization keeps that video smooth even while walking around. And slow motion recording is great as well, capturing 120 frames per second at 1080p. And then there's the new 360-degree audio recording, which uses 4 omnidirectional microphones to record audio from all sides of the phone. 360-degree audio is nice, but the only real reason that it's there is to highlight the audio focus feature, which isolates the recording audio to capture only what's in front of the camera when zooming in while recording video. It's a cool concept, but it doesn't really work well unless the subject you're zooming in on is only a few feet away. The good news is that that's not the only audio feature that's worth mentioning on the U11. The phone uses HTC's BoomSound Hi-Fi audio setup, with audio coming from the bottom of the phone and the earpiece. It's not as good as the original BoomSound, but it's loud, crisp, and has a bit of a kick when the bass rolls around. You may have heard that this phone doesn't have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Don't worry, you haven't been lied to. But that omission has been compensated with the inclusion of HTC's ViewSonic adapted earphones, which also have active noise cancellation. The headphones have a built-in microphone, which is used to scan your inner ear canal to create a custom audio profile tailored specifically for you. With the ViewSonic profile turned on, you get a richer audio experience with a much wider soundstage. On top of that, you also have active noise cancellation that's assisted by the on-device microphones to eliminate the noise around you. Needless to say, the out-of-the-box audio experience on the U11 is better than any other 2017 flagship smartphone. And if you don't want to use HTC's earphones, you can always connect your own using the included USB-C to 3.5mm dongle that's included in the box. It's hard to say if the U11 will be the phone that will bring HTC back to life. HTC's product team has delivered a really good phone, but it's up to the marketing team to remind the public that they're still around and let them know that the U11 is just as good as the Samsung Galaxy S8. My only real complaint is that we're living in a world where devices with a 16:9 aspect ratio feel outdated. The HTC U11 is a gorgeous device, but it really can't compete when you put it side by side with the Samsung Galaxy S8. Hopefully that's something that HTC is already working on for its flagship device next year. With my review out of the way, I'm curious to know what your take is on the HTC U11. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you want, you can follow me on Twitter as well, @NickMGray. Thanks for watching.